Well, that looks quite a lot of fun. And that motorcycle right there is the all-new Honda NX500. Now, ideally, I would be out there having a ball of a time and doing all the kind of tricks and giving you low down review.
But our resident Rossi decided to go ahead, disregarding his age, race with a couple of younger boys from the media fraternity and broke his arm.
Dude, you got to push it on a racetrack when you are racing. If you ain't pushing for that gap or for that line, then you ain't racing, bro.
Well, that's true. But I have to thank you because of your unfortunate situation. I got to spend a couple of days with the NX500, which I think is probably one of the best middle capacity adventure tourers in India right now.
Okay. So, that being said, you do owe me one for that, right?
Well, correct.
Okay. But moving further back, coming back to the motorcycle. So, I have a couple of questions with regards to the new Honda NX500.
Cool, we can go ahead with that. But before he shoots his questions, do subscribe to Car&Bike if you haven't already.
And do hit that bell notification for the latest news, reviews, and updates from the world of cars and bikes from Car&Bike.
So let's go ahead and talk about the NX500.
Yep. The NX500, it is the successor to the now discontinued CB500X, a fine adventure touring motorcycle from Honda. So, Seshan, what all has changed with this motorcycle?
Well, you are right. This NX500 is not entirely a new motorcycle. This is based on the CB500X. But the good thing is that it looks nothing like the CB500X. It looks more in line with the bigger siblings like the Africa Twin and even the Transalp. Yes, correct. Transalp. And that is a good thing because it looks leaner, it looks meaner, and the tall stance certainly gives it that appeal that you would desire from an adventure touring motorcycle. So I love those bits.
Okay. And I think it comes with it's got a more of a futuristic approach in terms of design. It's got all LED lighting and you got a tall windscreen.
Correct. Right? So you get LED headlamps, you get LED indicators, which also double up as hazard lights, of course. And you have the LED tail lamp. I also like the seats. You get a single piece seat, which is nice and wide, yet it gives you good amount of cushioning, the perfect amount of cushioning. It's not too soft, not too stiff. So I feel as a touring machine, Honda has nailed the seat with this.
Okay. So yeah, like you said, the comfort and everything is bang on. So like for any adventure touring motorcycle, ergonomics are the epitome of everything because you are going to spend a lot of time on the saddle and you want to be comfortable. If those things are not in place, you are going to get tired, you're going to get fatigued, and that's going to hamper your riding.
True.
So you have spent enough and more time with the motorcycle. So tell me about, can you deep dive more on the ergonomics?
Yeah, definitely. So the seat height, of course, is 830 mm. It will look a bit tall on paper, but it's not because the front section of the seat is narrow. So even shorter riders will be able to at least tiptoe and manage the bike easily. That's not a problem at all. You also have a nice and tall windscreen. I am 5 feet 9 inches tall, and I felt that the windscreen properly deflected the wind over my helmet, and I faced zero fatigue while riding this.
That's cool.
So I think ergonomic wise, Honda has nailed it because the handlebar is also nice and wide. Yes, one thing that I would like to do is maybe put aftermarket foot pegs, wider ones, and also add a handlebar riser because I felt that while saddling on this one, the handle was a bit low.
So Honda has marketed the NX500 as an adventure touring motorcycle, and the main focus has been for road biased kind of riding because it's got road focused tires, right? And along with that, it rides on 19-17-inch wheels. If I'm not right. Okay. So that in the mix, along with that, how much does the bike weigh, and how has that contributed to the weight distribution, and how does it affect in terms of, the handling and the agility of the motorcycle?
I'm happy you put that question because you'll be glad to hear that it's now 3 kgs lighter. And that is thanks to the lighter bi-spoke alloy wheels compared to the older ones. These are also lighter. These are about 1.5 kgs lighter. So that has aided in bringing down the weight of the motorcycle, and it's a lot more manageable. In fact, the weight distribution is so nice that even while standstill, if the bike feels that you can manage it, even shorter riders, they will be easily able to manage it because a friend of mine who is 5 feet 5 inches tall was able to quite comfortably manage the bike even with that kind of height and weight.
That is pretty cool, because I think the average height for Indians is somewhere in the ballpark of 5.5 or 5.3. But then that being said, if a person of that height is able to manage it, that's really good thing for a motorcycle in that segment,
Of
for
course.
a middleweight touring motorcycle.
Well, true, it is easy to manage, but yes, you need the skills as well if you are a shorter rider.
Yeah,
That is important. In terms of other question that you asked me about the handling capability and the cornering, yes, this bike can corner. And it has the same frame that was in the CB500X. So there is no change in that department. In fact, it feels quite nimble, sticks to the lines. It gets a set of Dunlop tires, which are quite sticky. So these are, of course, road bias tires.
So I can say that the overall the weight of the motorcycle is in the lower section of the
Correct.
bike
correct.
between
It
the
is
wheels.
balanced.
Yeah, it's well
perfectly
balanced. Okay.
So that is
So you don't feel that tall structure of the bike of what a touring motorcycle is. So you are able to very much manage it and
Correct,
sweep through corners.
yeah. You feel you are sitting in the motorcycle, not on the motorcycle.
Yeah, I'm sure that helps a lot because I also prefer to sit in the motorcycle because I feel that you feel more connected to a motorcycle. You can reach out to the controls and everything, and you can feel the feedback from the two contact patches even better when you are sitting in the motorcycle.
There is a sense of safety when you're doing
Right,
that. That is important when you're riding motorcycle.
True, very true. Okay, so that's quite interesting. Moving further, now this NX500 is a CBU import, right?
Yes.
So I think I can safely assume that the quality of materials, the components, the paint finish, and the switchgear, everything must be really good and top notch, right?
Well, with all Hondas, the quality of the material on this motorcycle is also quite nice. Yes, there are certain bits, some plastic parts that I feel could have been better. They are not necessarily cheap. It's just that the finishing could have been better, especially with the mirrors. That is one bit. Otherwise, the paint finish, the quality, the build, the welding edges, everything has been done nicely. It feels like a premium motorcycle. Yes, personally, I have a gripe with the graphics used on this motorcycle. They look a bit of an afterthought. They are not as cohesive or attractive as the Transalp or the Africa Twin. So that is one bit. But overall, in terms of quality and finishing, perfect.
No, wait, hang on. But then isn't this motorcycle the one that comes with those interchange turn indicators and the honk?
True,
Yeah,
true,
because I saw you, like several times while we were shooting, you wanted to turn give the indicator to shift lanes, but then instead he was honking. And our lensman was confused with the whole process of what is happening.
Well, that's true. That's true. Even though I was riding this motor for 3 days, I couldn't figure out because what Honda has done is you need to stop doing that, Honda.
Yeah.
What you have done is that they have interchanged the position of the indicator switch and the honk. So whenever you try to go and honk, you end up
So
pressing.
the horn is at the top and the indicator is at the bottom side. Okay.
Correct. That is the case.
I think that's there on some other bikes as well, but I don't get it. Why do you want to change something which is so, it's basically muscle memory which is there. You
Correct,
don't have to think.
correct.
Now here you have to take your eyes off the road to look over there.
Yeah,
You don't
this
want
is
that, right?
distracting, and we would that could be a problem for new riders. Another gripe I would have though is with the joystick. If you remember, you were also fiddling around
Oh
with it.
yeah, I couldn't understand how to operate it. It doesn't keep it simple, D-pad or something like that. It looked something quite tacky in terms of how the movement would be. I wasn't sure whether it's going to move up and down or left and right.
It
But
lacked tactile
yeah,
feel as well, and you're trying to play with it and change the menus. But it wasn't working properly. It felt like you needed a lot of time to get used to that, and that is something that will be a challenge initially with this motorcycle.
Moving further, let's talk about the equipment and the cycle pass on this motorcycle. So I've read the brochure and given the price tag it is priced at,
Yeah.
it and the equipments that you're getting or the features that you're getting with it, I'm not quite happy with what you're getting here.
Yeah,
Get
that
right.
is the case. Yes, I totally understand. You do get a new 5-inch full color TFT display compared to the old monochrome unit.
Yeah, it
so
looks
that is
pretty
a good. It is a nicer one. You get a ton of information on that. You also get dual channel ABS. You get switchable traction control. But that's the extent of it.
But you don't get riding modes. You don't get switchable
Correct.
ABS. Hello, Honda.
Yeah, I agree.
Why?
It's a mid-capacity 500cc motorcycle. TVS offers riding modes in a 200cc Apache.
Okay, he said that, I didn't. But then, yeah, to be on a serious note, coming back to the motorcycle, I See, the old school way is wherein your hand is your riding mode and your traction control and everything. But then with modern machines and everything, you do want to have
Yes.
these kind of features because they do make the ride experience a lot better. See, uh, rain mode, probably you got your road mode, you got your rain mode, and then you got your sport mode and all that, which is pretty much the standard thing, three riding
And
modes
then
that we get.
you get an off-road mode where you are able to switch off your rear ABS,
Yes,
which is not present in this motorcycle.
That's what. So that is there. And apart from that, also rain mode is when, you don't necessarily have to switch to that when it's raining, but also when you're tired or if you just want to ride easy. You want the power to be dialed down a bit. You don't want the throttle to be that snappy. So all these things do add to the overall experience. These features do come in the picture and they do add to the overall value of the ride experience.
Well, exactly. That is my point. But yes, that minimal features is Achilles heel for the NX500, and Honda should have definitely thought about it. Maybe if in future they consider making it a CKD unit, then they can add more features to the list.
So that's about the features. Next is the suspension and the cycle pass about the NX500. So what do you have in store with this bike?
Big thing again, a shocker for you. You do not get fully adjustable for suspension here. You get preload adjustment for the rear side monoshock, but that's the extent of it. The front forks, of course, are quite nice. These are 41mm show-off front forks, and it's a Pro-Link monoshock at the rear.
Yeah.
So, good setup. I think most riders will not be bothered with it. They will be comfortable in the stock setting. I felt that given my heavy stature, I felt that I needed to adjust the preload a bit to make it a bit softer for my liking, but most riders will definitely be comfortable in this because Honda has tuned it perfectly. It goes over bumps quite easily. On tarmac, it feels like a glider. So overall, I feel this is quite a nice setup.
Okay, so overall, you can say that, this setup is taking care of
Correct.
your touring and city use and mild off-roading as well, right?
100%.
I don't think you got a chance to ride it too up.
Yeah.
So, but you did try with your weight and everything. You did feel that you wanted to
Correct,
adjust
correct,
the
yeah.
preload settings a bit. But I do feel, at least if not as a standard equipment, the option for a person to upgrade to adjustable suspension, at least up to a certain extent, semi-adjustable. If not
I
fully
totally agree with you.
Would have been nice, yeah, that's what,
that
yeah.
would have been a good addition. But yeah, sadly, we don't have it at the moment.
However, moving further, let's get to the powertrain of the NX500. Now, the brochure says that it is powered by the same 471cc powertrain motor, liquid
Currently,
cooled.
it is the same.
Yeah, it's the same motor from the CB500X. Tell me what all has been changed, or is the same motor, and more on that.
Yes, see, mechanically nothing has changed. It still makes the same 47 brake horsepower and 43 Nm of peak torque as before, and you still get the 6-speed manual gearbox, of course. What has changed though, that Honda says it has remapped the ECU, and that is done to get better acceleration. And now, I haven't ridden the CB500X, but this NX did feel quick. It was quick.
It's lighter, right? So that also must have contributed,
True,
and along
definitely.
with the engine remapping. So we can definitely say that, it must have definitely
Yeah,
the
it's
timings
quite,
for it.
Well, quite quick. And it's also, the power delivery is also nice. It's smooth.
Okay.
And it has a nice, the torque curve is also nice and gradual. So I felt that this is not intimidating. It is powerful, it is quick, but it is not intimidating. And that is something that I look for in a motorcycle.
Definitely true. That is a factor that you want to consider when you are touring and with adventure touring motorcycles. So
Yeah.
also a crucial factor that comes in the picture is tractability, in-gear acceleration, and the heat dissipation from the motor. Has it been channeled really well so that, it doesn't...
So it is definitely a very tractable motorcycle now. Even in the 6th gear, you're doing 35 or 40 kilometers per hour. It doesn't feel like it will stall, and you can then give it throttle and it will pull nicely without any fuss.
That's good.
So that is something that I liked about this motorcycle. One gripe I do have with it is that it felt that the vibes come in quite early on, like around 3000, 4000 RPM. You especially feel them around the handlebars, but it is not something that will deter you from getting this motorcycle because you do get used to it very fairly quickly. By the time I was done with the first day, I was used to the vibes. And if you are wearing gloves, used to wearing gloves and riding, then cuts down the vibes a lot more. So that is something that you just need to keep in mind.
And what about the heat management part?
Well, I feel that Honda has done a fine job over there as well. The heat management is very nice. I did feel some amount of it around my thigh area after some long riding, but that was nothing that was uncomfortable. It was mild heat, and I think the credit for that, now even that amount of it goes to the current weather, which is quite scorching outside.
Yeah, I can totally imagine if I was riding a Harley or an Indian right now.
Well,
God,
he
I
said
said
that.
on my thighs. Yeah, this heat, that heat on the engine from those motorcycles, dear Lord.
Well, luckily it was a Honda.
So let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is the price tag. Now the Honda NX500 is priced at 5.9 lakhs ex showroom, and the on-road price goes to
Almost 8 lakh rupees in Mumbai.
okay, that's quite a lot,
Yeah, definitely. That's a steep pricing. But when you look at the competition, you do have some good options. What about the Versus 650?
Okay, you get more displacement, but at the same time, after sales, when it comes to spares, you do end up these bikes do end up digging a hole in your pocket, and I do know that you versus owners over there are going to be feeling that pinch, when you do have a fall and that fairing does get damaged and you have to replace it.
Agree.
Parts are expensive.
Agree. But then there is the Benelli TRK 502.
Yes, I have ridden that bike and I do thoroughly enjoy that motorcycle quite a lot. But yes, you have to consider that, that brand lacks in terms of lacks recognition. And at the same time, also, the service center network is not as strong when it comes to Honda.
True, definitely true. But I would like to say here, Janak, that even if I had 8 lakh rupees right now, before going ahead and booking this NX500, I would think twice. Because when you look at the bang for the buck factor, the NX misses it by a huge margin.
Now, I do understand the point you're trying to say. That being said, what do you think about the pricing about the NX500?
And if you think that some of the other rivals that we mentioned is something that you would consider, do mention that as well. And if you like this video, do give it a thumbs up, share it with your fellow enthusiasts, and for more such automotive content, keep following Car&Bike.
Bye. Thank you for watching.